What's up, everybody? I'm Sydnee Goodman, and in today's Daily Fix, the Cyberpunk saga continues, and Control Ultimate Edition gets a release date. Roll the thing. Yesterday afternoon, Sony cyber-dumped Cyberpunk from the PlayStation Store in response to the game's lackluster technical performance on PlayStation consoles, and is offering full refunds to those who had purchased the game digitally from Sony's storefront. In its official statement, Sony said, quote, "We will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store. SIE will also be removing Cyberpunk 2077 from PlayStation Store until further notice." This comes after the game's developer, CD Projekt Red, seemingly offered refunds on PlayStation and Xbox without actually working out a deal with the platform holders, as many people were denied refunds on PlayStation prior to this. Whether that move ultimately led to PlayStation pulling the game from their store on top of offering refunds on their own terms, or if some Sony exec just got tired of glitches turning their character into a flasher, I guess we'll never know. Now CDPR has said that they are working hard to bring the game back to the PlayStation Store, quote, as soon as possible, but short of Cyberpunk-style hacking, it may be a bit. The Twitter statement also implies that CDPR definitely was part of the decision to remove Cyberpunk from the PlayStation Store, with the developer claiming this all went down after their discussion with Sony. CDPR also shared the link to PlayStation's return page, but still took the opportunity to both A, hawk physical copies, and B, subtly push the blame onto players, quote, not willing to wait for updates. According to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, an internal Q&A at CDPR reportedly took place before Sony's bombshell announcement. Schreier reports that the development staff allegedly turned to the board during a heated discussion, hitting them with a barrage of questions, after management apologized to the team for Cyberpunk's less than stellar launch. Following up on Twitter, Schreier says, quote, another dev asked, why did the company say the game was complete in January when that wasn't true? Though Cyberpunk was delayed 3 times, consensus from current and former employees, speaking to Bloomberg, is that their deadlines set by management were always unrealistic. On a related note, Schreier also shared via Twitter quotes from an October meeting from CDPR's co-CEO, Adam Kaczynski, in which he said, quote, regarding crunch, actually, it's not that bad and never was. This was quickly course-corrected in an email to staff obtained by Bloomberg, with Kaczynski saying, quote, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to apologize to everyone for what I said during Tuesday's investor conference call. I had not wanted to comment on crunch, yet I still did, and I did it in a demeaning and harmful way. He went on to say, quote, I always was and am still proud of the heart and soul you put into what you do every day. This is obviously a huge mess, and no one involved is happy. After CDPR's actions and questionable, at best, marketing practices, the mixed messaging and poor communication continues to be part of the ongoing problem. And at the end of the day, not very Cyberpunk. So let's start with some things that have been reported recently. CDPR reportedly pushed its employees to work over 100-hour work weeks frequently. They specifically showcased Cyberpunk on PC primarily, with only a small slice of gameplay shown on Series X and PS5, and never showed it running on base PS4 or Xbox One consoles. They provided no access to console versions of the game to media ahead of reviews, keeping reviewers from important information that would have informed the public beforehand. The company forced media outlets to release reviews of the game based only on PC impressions, and required media to use only footage provided by CDPR rather than footage that reviewers captured during their playthroughs, providing a skewed perspective and an already limited experience. Though we did do a recut of our review after release to share our own captured gameplay. The company then released the product to the wider public, and management claimed to be unaware of the issues plaguing the versions of the game that would be played on the intended launch consoles. They seemingly announced refunds for the game without prior communication with established marketplaces for the game. They continue to encourage consumers to purchase this version of the game despite the known performance issues. The question is, do these actions outweigh the incredible hype for this game? Does a company who is attributed with one of the most beloved games of the last generation and the most anticipated game in years really lose that much ground from these practices? Now, while all of this stacks up to a huge pile of unrest for players and developers, there are those out there who have had an incredible experience with Cyberpunk and are touting the game's achievements. That counts for something, and it shouldn't be diminished. It's just unfortunate that CDPR took part in what, from the outside, seems like irresponsible actions that left not only consumers, but companies like Sony in the wake raising the question whether Sony could be forfeiting any profits from their marketplace as well, losing expected revenue from those sales. I hope Cyberpunk gets fixed. I hope the hardworking devs get the appreciation they deserve because they tried to make the best game they possibly could with the time and resources they had, with likely very little say in the marketing and distribution of this game. I hope consumers get the game that they want. Most of all, I hope that something like this does not happen again. It's not fair to anyone. For those of you looking to return your copy of Cyberpunk, IGN has an article detailing the process, so check that out. And you Xbox users have the option as well. A Twitter announcement from Xbox support confirmed that full refunds are available to anyone who bought Cyberpunk 2077 from the Microsoft Store. In keeping with that slightly more relaxed vibe, it doesn't appear that Microsoft is booting Cyberpunk from the store altogether like Sony has. So that's one less fire that CDPR needs to worry about putting out, which is good because, well, let's just say they could roast a lot of marshmallows. It's our last Daily Fix of the year, and while we haven't yet announced our Game of the Year for 2020, we have news regarding our Game of the Year 2019, Control. Remedy Entertainment has revealed through a tweet from the official Control Twitter account that Control Ultimate Edition on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S will arrive digitally on February 2nd and launch as a physical version a month later on March 2nd. Remedy also noted that the Ultimate Edition will offer a 60 FPS performance mode and a 30 FPS graphic mode with ray tracing. There was also a teaser included in the tweet that shows a sneak peek at both modes in action. Definitely excited to check this one out on Next Gen. And that's Daily Fix. I'm Sydnee Goodman, and I hope your day is as awesome as you are. Like I said, this is the last Daily Fix for the year, so bye-bye 2020, and I'll see you all in 2021. January 4th will be our first episode back. Thank you all for your support this year and have a wonderful holiday season. Now that you are all caught up in the news, check out our latest episode of Next Gen Console Watch, where we talk about if this whole Cyberpunk situation is a huge red flag for what's to come with next gen games. Download the IGN app on all your mobile devices, subscribe to the Daily Fix on Snapchat, and for all things everything else, IGN.com.
This city's always got a promise for you. Might be a lie, an illusion, but it's there, just around the corner, and it keeps you going.